Hey, welcome to another episode of Hooked on Christmas. Today we're not going to be doing a new feature for the yard or for Christmas or Halloween. Over the weekend, I was watching one of the reaction videos from the Matthews family, and they were talking about these towns and these cities that are in remote locations on top of mountains or down mountainsides. And I got to thinking, what would those towns look like during Christmas? You know, sitting up on a peak and all lit up and pretty lights and Christmas trees and ornaments. And then I got to thinking, you know, I would love to, at some point, be able to bring you videos of travels around the world where we're looking at different cultures and how they celebrate Christmas. Then I got to thinking, well, maybe there are already some videos out there from fellow YouTubers like myself that have already got some of those videos. So this video is going to be about Christmas around the world with about 7 different YouTubers out there. Their videos will be displayed on video clips, and you'll be able to click on that, get their links, and go to it and see the full videos. But I just wanted to do clips. And I want you to get a little bit of the origin of Christmas as well, because I think a lot of times people don't actually fully understand and how Christmas came about, how things interacted and came around. And so this is a piece from the History Channel as well. So I hope you all like this video, and I hope that you learn something, you see something new, and it helps you celebrate the season. Because around here on Hooked on Christmas, it is always 'tis the season. Enjoy.
Number 10. Christmas in Old Town, Prague, Czech Republic. Christmas is such a joyous holiday that it shouldn't be confined to just December. At the Prague Christmas markets, the spirit of the season persists from late November to early January. Given how many Christmas markets there are in Prague, you'll want the extra time to experience everything. Old Town Square and Wenceslas Square are where the primary markets annually set up shop. Walking from one market to another is as easy as fruitcake. The medieval architecture gives the area a timeless aesthetic perfectly suited for Christmas time. It's only made more festive with carolers, animal stables, and a gigantic Christmas tree. Partake in Czech beers and Czech dishes as you make your way through a series of booths, picking up handcrafted gifts for Christmas Day. Number 9. Day of the Little Candles, Colombia. We all know what December 25th means. Unless you live in Colombia, though, you might not understand why December 7th is significant. The Gateway to South America recognizes this date as the Day of the Little Candles, unofficially kicking off the Christmas season. This celebration can be traced back to 1854, when Colombian citizens illuminated paper lanterns and candles in support of Pope Pius IX. The tradition continues today with breathtaking candle arrangements, light displays, and fireworks. Even if you're not the most religious person, anyone can appreciate the candlelight scenery, making all of Colombia look as if it were lit up like a birthday cake. As you make your way through the glowing streets, snack on some buñuelos, one of Colombia's signature Christmas treats. Number 8. Careta Shiodome Illumination Show, Tokyo, Japan. On an average evening, Tokyo's nightlife beams to life with neon lights and vibrant colors. So, as you can imagine, the country also puts on quite the spectacle for Christmas. The standout event is the Careta Illumination Show, which utilizes more than 250,000 LED lights. Annually taking place at Careta Shiodome, this 8-minute light show occurs every 20 minutes from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. The 47-story building complex provides the ideal venue for this breathtaking marriage of flickering lights and captivating music. The event has frequently collaborated with Disney, showcasing music from Beauty and the Beast in 2017, Frozen and Tangled in 2018, and, most recently, Aladdin. This free event takes Christmas into overdrive, lasting from mid-November.
Vienna practically sparkles with the holiday spirit during the Christmas season. The city offers the chance for a delightful, old-fashioned Christmas, with the smell of Christmas baking, hot punch, and toasted almond hands in the air, and twinkling holiday decorations covering imperial architecture. With the Viennese Christmas market at City Hall, there's a wide variety of handicrafts, ornaments, ceramics, as well as tasty finger foods and that wonderful spiced mulled wine. Of course, the Vienna Boys' Choir concerts are a must during the holidays, as well as the Nativity and the Tree of Hearts. Number 6. Tallinn, Estonia. The Estonian capital is known for its wonderful Christmas spirit, with its medieval old town dusted in snow and lanterns lit after dark, providing a glow to the cobblestone streets. The world's first Christmas tree was erected here in 1441, and today, the holiday tradition still includes the legendary tree in the town hall square. The famous tree is surrounded by the beautiful Christmas market filled with handicraft specialists along with snow sculptures and Estonian food and drink. The Gingerbread Mania exhibition has creative, intricate, all-gingerbread creations from 100 Estonian artists. The Estonian Open Air Museum displays how Christmas was celebrated in centuries past in rural farm communities across the country, making for a truly old-world Christmas feel. Number 5. Quebec City. As one of the oldest cities in North America, its colonial French architecture gives it an unmistakable European feel. It has such a natural appeal to it. One can really have a memorable Christmas in Quebec City, all without leaving Canada. With its cobblestone lanes, white and fluffy snow, and some of the most striking and historic architecture in Canada, the capital of La Belle Province has a lot going on. It's a festival that offers illuminations on a massive scale, an authentic German Christmas market, along with an impressive light show where you can sip mulled wine and browse for gifts. Quebec City will surely not be a disappointment. Number 4. Bruges, Belgium. From walking alongside canals and horse-drawn carriages to the heavenly Belgian chocolate shops and buildings that look like iced gingerbread houses, if there's one city that can deliver on a fairy tale Christmas, it's Bruges. Around the main square, you'll find a lot of festive things to ogle at. Europe's best preserved medieval city oozes charm year-round, but especially during the holidays, with its center transformed into a Christmas parade, partially sliding on its large ice rink. Visitors can also enjoy the spectacular snow and ice sculpture festival, enjoy a Belgian hot chocolate, or some glühwein, the traditional holiday mulled wine.
Rovaniemi, Lapland, Finland. Is there a better place to meet Christmas poster boy Santa than in a frozen winter wonderland of deep snow and pine forests? Rovaniemi in Lapland, Finland offers you Christmas in its entirety. Children get to make gingerbread with Mrs. Claus, brush up on their festive cheers at elf school, or explore the Christmas scenery on a reindeer-led sleigh ride. Christmas time in Rovaniemi comes with husky dog rides, tobogganing in the deep, pristine snow, viewing the northern lights, or even taking a sled-red reindeer safari at the Surmako Reindeer Farm. And that's not all. Staying at the Arctic Snow Hotel, constructed entirely of snow and ice, provides you with an especially frosty experience. The hotel comes with hot tubs and saunas to offset the frozen temperatures. Bruges, Belgium. All year round, Bruges in Belgium is as stunning as can be, but it truly comes alive in winter, with its center transformed into a Christmas parade partially sliding on its large ice rink. This town is just one of the few towns that deliver that fairy tale Christmas, as you get to engage in activities like walking alongside canals and riding on horse-drawn carriages to the heavenly Belgian chocolate shops and buildings that look like iced gingerbread houses. Visitors can also enjoy the spectacular snow and ice sculpture festival while wandering around the old town and refreshing themselves with beers or steaming mugs of hot chocolate. Nuremberg, Germany. Nuremberg is home to one of the oldest Christmas markets in Germany, and since seasonal markets originated in Germany, we can say that the Christmas market in Nuremberg is the oldest that you can get, and it gets better each year. You get to feed your eyes with some of the finest wares in the world, and you can be sure that you won't be getting any fakes. As you move around to the market, though, you cannot miss the tempting aromas of mulled wine, along with gingerbread, sausage, and sweet roasted almonds. The entirety of these comes to an unforgettable holiday atmosphere in the old town, decorated in all its Christmas glory. Kids are not left out of the fun, too, as they get to visit the Toy Museum as well as the magnificent two-tiered carousel based on old originals, complete with reindeer and Father Christmas sleighs.
It is a story everyone knows. After a rude refusal by a local innkeeper, Mary and Joseph bedded down in a barn in Bethlehem. The next day, Mary gave birth to a son, the Son of God. Those are the biblical origins of Christmas. But centuries before Jesus walked the earth, early Europeans were celebrating light and birth in the darkest days of winter. In the Norse country, this winter celebration was known as Yule. Around December 21st, the winter solstice, fathers and sons would drag home the biggest log they could find and set it on fire. The Yule log warmed, but it also looked ahead. Each spark was said to represent a pig or calf to be born in the spring. Also dragged inside were evergreens, the one plant that could make it through a Norse winter. Evergreens proved that life persisted in this dark time.
There's a natural attraction to that which lives through the winter when one is struggling to survive through the winter. The evergreen is that part of nature that seems impervious to the coming of winter and the diminishing of the sun. And so it's an absolutely natural symbol, one which I think we react to almost without thinking about.
For as long as the Yule log burned, about 12 days, feasting and revelry reigned supreme. In fact, this was one of the few times that meat was abundant, since cattle had just been slaughtered for the long winter.
There is a necessity to kill most of the cattle, because you can't keep them alive over the winter when there's nothing to feed them on. You keep a few alive for breeding. But there is an opportunity for a great blowout, for a great feast, time to party.
The party raged inside in defiance of winter's deadly howl.
There is a spooky feel about the northern Yuletide festivals. You may be all right there in the hall with the blazing fires, but outside there are demons, there are spirits.
In Germany, the pagan god Odin lent his name to this midwinter holiday. Early Germans were terrified of Odin, whose nocturnal flights decided who would prosper or perish in the coming year. Later, we'd see another Christmas sky rider, Santa Claus. But for now, staying inside became the smartest choice at this frightening time of the year. A 1,000 miles away in Rome, winter was less harrowing, but the December festivals were just as elaborate. 1 week before the winter solstice, Romans began celebrating Saturnalia, a month-long orgy of food and drink. Named for the god Saturn, which meant plenty, Rome's established order was turned on its head during this wild, delirious time.
The Saturnalia celebrations were certainly times of revelry, of turning the social order upside down, of having the master pretend to be the slave and the slave pretend to be the master, sort of a time out of time in which one could celebrate a kind of disorder in the universe.
One of the holiday's important feasts was Juvenalia, which celebrated the children of Rome.
Although these early festivals are not necessarily about children particularly, though they are about fertility, children did have their particular place. The indulgence of children, of course, is very much a part of our modern Christmas, but it did have its place even in these ribald, drunken festivals that the Romans had.
Among the upper classes in Rome, solstice celebrations were significantly more sober. Many influential Romans worshipped Mithra, the god of the unconquerable sun. To this small but powerful sect, the birthday of Mithra was the holiest day of the year.
December 25th was the winter solstice in that part of the world, and it was also understood to be the birthday of the sun god, Mithra. And Mithra was said to be born from a rock. Shepherds came to worship him as he was an infant god born out in that pastoral place in the fields. And many of those stories, of course, have come into Christian tradition.
While Romans were worshiping the sun god, a new religion was taking hold throughout the empire. At first, Christians didn't celebrate the birth of Christ. His resurrection was the essential fact of the new religion. By the 4th century, however, the question of the holy birth became impossible to ignore. For Christians, the fact of his birth was settled, but the date remained a mystery. The Bible doesn't mention exactly when Christ was born, but certain facts suggest it probably was not in December.
So if you're going to sort through the runes of the scriptures, Jesus was probably born in the spring. If the shepherds are out in the fields watching their flock by night, we're not talking about one of the cold spells at the heart of winter.
If pagan Rome was already celebrating the birth of Mithra on December 25th, it seemed natural to honor the birth of the Christ child at the same time. By the 4th century, the church made it official. December 25th was declared the feast day of the Nativity.
But of course, it's a very short step from the feast day of the risen sun, S-U-N, to the feast day of the risen sun, S-O-N. So in a sense, it's a very good choice, and the symbolism is there because, the feast day of the unconquered sun was about fertility, about birth, and so obviously it's the Christian Christmas.
The church knew it could not outlaw the pagan traditions of Christmas, so it set out to adopt them. The evergreens traditionally brought inside were soon decorated with apples, symbolizing the Garden of Eden. These apples would eventually become Christmas ornaments. And holly, a traditional midwinter decoration, was recast to represent Christ's crown of thorns.
People already had their own agenda for this season, and that agenda was not one that was really radically changed when the names got changed from non-Christian to Christian names. The church pretty much had a policy of live and let live. If people would call themselves Christians and do lip service to the birth of the Savior, then let them do anything that they wanted to do with it. But on the other hand, by assigning the Nativity to that time of year, the church really gave up the opportunity to control the way that celebration took place.
The tension between piety and revelry at Christmas would reach its logical and extreme conclusion in Puritan England, when the holiday would be considered so un-Christian it was done away with altogether.
More snack food tech on Modern Marvels, tonight at 9 on the History Channel.
Now back to Christmas Unwrapped, here on the History Channel. By the Middle Ages, Christianity had largely replaced the old pagan religions of Europe. On December 25th, the faithful were called to Gothic cathedrals like Notre Dame and Salisbury Cathedral in England for Christ's Mass, soon to be called Christmas. But out in the streets, the holiday was still more raucous than religious.
If you went to England around Christmas time, any time before, say, 1800, you'd probably feel pretty ill at ease. You wouldn't think it was Christmas at all. What would you think it was? Maybe Mardi Gras, maybe New Year's Eve, maybe Halloween? Because Christmas in old-time England was really a carnival.
The houses of London were littered with brawling, drunken villagers and couples engaged in the most unholy activities. And each Christmas, a beggar or student was temporarily put in charge after being crowned the Lord of Misrule. The rest of the peasantry also got their once-a-year chance to grab power from the ruling classes.
They would go around to the houses of the rich, they would bang on the doors and demand entry, and once they were let in, the lord of the manor had to give them the best stuff that he had. He had to give them his best food, he had to give them his best beer, his best of everything.